Jai Hind to all my dear student. In this video, we are going to continue our new chapter metals and non-metals. Previously, we have learnt about the physical properties of metal and non-metal, and in this video, children, we are going to learn about the chemical properties of metals. And in that, we will be reading about reaction of metal with oxygen and reaction of metal with water. First of all, as you can see here in the notes I have written that metals are electropositive in nature. Okay, now what do we understand with the term electropositive? See, if we just split the term electropositive into two parts, electro, okay, related to electron, and positive, obviously the sign positive. Okay, so here means those elements or metals which are electropositive in nature. Now to just to define this electropositive word, here is the definition written. Okay, see, definition is the tendency of metal to lose electron in order to get stability is called electropositive nature of metal. Now which stability is it talking about, children? I think it would be very good that before proceeding ahead in this video, all of you have read or all of you have seen the previous topic which I have taught on valency, because that is very much means it is used here in this whole video. All the ways, all the technique to form the formulas are used in this video. So better all of you just watch the valency video and then proceed here. Okay, so now in general, most of the metals lose electron from their valence shell. What do we mean by valence shell? Valence shell means outermost shell, in order to become stable. Okay, so usually you know that metals donate the electrons according to the octet rule. And what is the octet rule here, beta? Octet rule means according to this rule, every element have a tendency to attain the configuration like noble gas, and in order to attain the configuration like noble gas, they have, or they means they should have the configuration like noble gas, in that the outermost shells should have 8 electron. So in order to maintain the 8 electron or to get the 8 electron, either metals not metal, sorry, either element gain the lose the electron or gain the electron. So here if we are talking about metals, metals generally lose the electron in order to complete its octet. So after loss of electron, metal atom form cations, and cations are called positive ions. Okay, that is why metals are electropositive in nature. I am showing you how. See, this is your sodium and the atomic number of sodium is 11, 281. Okay, and this sodium metal, if it want to become stable, what it will do? That in order to become stable, the outermost shell should have 8 electrons. So here, but it is here 1 electron, so it donate it 1 electron and it forms sodium ion, that is your 28. Okay, and this is how, and 1 electron is lost. So as you can see, children, 1 electron is lost, so sodium is having 1 positive charge here. Positive charge on the element depends upon the number of electron, how much electron is lost. Okay, see here, let us have the next example of magnesium. Magnesium atomic number is 12, and what will be the electronic configuration? 2, 8 and 2. Okay, so this is your magnesium atom. And now magnesium atom, in order to become stable, it loses its 2 electron out, means this here it loses this 2 electron and it becomes 2, 8, and here now it is stable. Okay, and what is the number of charge here? Mg 2 plus. Why 2 plus? Because 2 electron is lost. Is it okay? So loss of 2 electron is there. So let's have the next example of aluminium. Atomic number of aluminium is 13 and it is 2, 8 and 3. Okay, electronic configuration. Now here, in order to become stable, aluminium loses its 3 electron. So see here, aluminium loses its 3 electron to form 2, 8 configuration, and this 2, 8 configuration is children of which noble gas? Okay, then please note it down and tell me, okay, that this 2, 8 configuration is of which noble gas. Okay, so this is how the whatever the number of electron is lost, that many positive sign is here. Okay, why that many positive sign beta? Because you know that atom is electrically neutral. The number of proton is equal to number of neutron. Extremely sorry. Number of proton is equal to number of electron. And if the electron is lost, so that many proton is increasing. And as you know that the sign of proton is positive, so if one electron is gone out, so how much charge will be is increased, so there is one extra positive charge in the nucleus. If two electron is going out, so two extra positive charge in the nucleus, which is not balanced by the electron. Is it okay? That is why we are writing here +3 or +2. Now next is your calcium, and its atomic number is 20. Its electronic configuration is 2882. Okay, this is calcium atom written here. Now it you can see here the calcium also donate this outermost 2 electron to form 288. Okay, and this is your calcium ion, and see here 2 electron, loss of 2 electron, and Ca2 plus. Okay, so this is how the metal atom reacts with your not reacts, it shows the electropositive characteristics by losing its electron, outermost electron, in order to become stable. Okay, now this is called electropositive nature of metal. Now we are going to read the first reaction of metal with oxygen. So here you can see all metal combine with oxygen to form metal oxides. Okay, now different metals react with oxygen under different conditions. See here how it reacts with different condition. See, I have written one formula here, that metal combining with oxygen gas, and metals usually do not combine with oxygen atom. It combines with oxygen gas. Oxygen gas means the gaseous atom, the oxygen is present here in the form of gas. Okay, in the atmosphere it is present in the form of gas, and that is your O2. Okay, and it forms metal oxides. So let us have an example. Suppose sodium, when it reacts with O2 oxygen, and it can react with oxygen at room temperature only. See here, that's why I have written that different metal react with oxygen in different condition. It is not applicable to a single method won't be applicable to every metal. That okay, if sodium is reacting at the room temperature, so magnesium, calcium, and zinc, all the metals will react in the room temperature only. So different conditions are required for the reaction of metal with the oxygen. So do understand here that sodium react with oxygen at the room temperature to form sodium oxide. So this is your Na2O is sodium oxide. Okay, fine. Now next again, so what is this 4? And written here, what is this 4? So this 4, as you have learned in the previous class, this is the balancing of the equation. It has been done. Okay, so can we count? 2 2s are 4. Okay, 2 2s are 4. So Na is a 4 atoms here, and this 2 is also applicable for oxygen. So 2 atoms of oxygen, and yes, here 2 atoms of oxygen is there, and 4 atom of sodium. So this is way the equation is balanced. So every equation what will we will be dealing here is balanced equation. So next reaction, 2 Mg plus O2. See, now magnesium, Mg means magnesium, reacts with oxygen on heating it. Just if you remember that you have seen that in class 7 also you have seen, and that, or in the video you can see here that magnesium ribbons are there, and these magnesium ribbon, when they are just brought on the Bunsen burner or near the flame, and after holding it for few seconds, the magnesium ribbon starts burning with a very white dazzling light. Okay, and this white dazzling light result into the formation of magnesium oxide. So this is your magnesium oxide. Okay, and this is your magnesium oxide is beta white colored ash. Okay, white colored ash. Now again there is my question that are you not somewhat confused that why ma'am you have written here Na2O and here MgO? How is it? So for this I think all of you should know that how formula formation is done. Just for an example I am showing you here. So suppose this is sodium and this is oxygen, and sodium valency is 1. Okay, and oxygen valency is 2. So according to the cross valency formula, what you do, this valency of sodium goes to oxygen, valency of oxygen goes to sodium. So here it will be Na2O. And let us understand for magnesium, Mg O. For magnesium valency is also 2 and oxygen valency is also 2. So 2 common, it can be cancelled. 1. Okay, now this one goes here, cross valency, and this one goes here. So it is Mg1O1. So what is, we can write MgO. So this is how the formula changes. So for making the formula, you have to know the valencies of the element very nicely. Okay, so let's move ahead. So here for the zinc, as you can see here children, that you have to do strong heating. Strong heating means you have to heat for a long time, okay, and it result into the formation of zinc oxide. This ZnO is zinc oxide, and yes, and when the formation of zinc oxide is taking place, as it was a white dazzling light in magnesium, so here it burns with a blue flame. Okay, let's understand with iron. Iron, when reacts with water, reacts with oxygen on strong heating. Again, you have to heat for a long time. Okay, you have to do very strong heating. No burning takes place. No burning takes place means there is no formation of such flame like of substance. Have you seen the molten red hot iron? So that is the condition. There is no flame coming out of iron as it is coming out from magnesium and zinc. So here it would be red hot, but no flame would be seen. So this is your iron oxide. Fe2O3 means iron oxide. Is it okay? Now iron oxide. Okay, next copper. Copper, again on prolonged heating. Prolonged means heating for a more longer time in comparison to your iron and zinc. So on prolonged or strong heating, strong means intensity of heating, the burner should be more. Okay, so on prolonged heating it form copper oxide. Okay, so this is your CuO, copper oxide. Okay, and here also no burning takes place means no flame. You can see just like in magnesium and zinc, no flame will be coming out. Okay, so from all these reaction, all the above 5 reactions, what we can conclude? We can conclude the order of reactivity of metals with oxygen. Means just like the example, sodium do not require any heating. Okay, do not require any heating, so it was very reactive. And magnesium, just for only few seconds, if you heat on the burner, it start burning. Okay, just like that, in those metal in which you have to give good amount of heat energy, those metal are less reactive, and metals in which you don't have to give any heat energy, you don't have to provide any external energy, that metals are more reactive. So on basis of that, here is the reactivity of the metals, that sodium being more reactive than magnesium. So magnesium is more reactive than zinc, zinc is more reactive than iron, and iron is more reactive than copper. So this reactivity is this series of reactivity is only made upon the basis of above 5 reaction. Okay, there are many more metals, children. You might be having some doubt in your mind that ma'am, what about the calcium, what about the potassium? Yeah beta, those are also there, but I have just we have written here according to these 5 elements only. So reactivity decreases here. Okay, now a very important thing, children, what I have written here as notes, so that you can understand this. Okay, see, understand this. If these metal oxide, when dissolve in water, okay, it forms metal hydroxide. Okay, and the formula of metal hydroxide, here I have written M plus, because metals are electropositive in nature, and hydroxide, as you know, it is a polyatomic ion, OH minus ion. So this is the means you can say the root formula. Okay, the actual formula I am going to show you. So metal oxides, when it is dissolved in water, just I am taking the example of magnesium, that magnesium oxide, when you are burning the magnesium, the white ash which you get, that is your magnesium oxide. And when you take that ash and dissolve in the water, okay, dissolve in the water, that is dissolving of magnesium oxide into the water, it forms magnesium hydroxide. Okay, but and now when it forms magnesium hydroxide, when you bring 2 litmus paper into it, one is blue, another one is red litmus paper, what you see is here, beta I have written here, that blue litmus paper don't show any color change, but the red litmus paper changes into the blue. Okay, it changes into the blue. And as you know, as you have studied in class 7 also, that when the red litmus changes to blue, so that solution is basic in nature. So this is what it signifies, that metal oxide in water, that is metal hydroxide, is basic in nature. Is it okay? So as you can see here, I have written magnesium oxide. When you dissolve magnesium oxide in water, okay. See children, again some of you might be having question that ma'am, all metal oxide dissolve in water. So no beta, all metal oxide do not dissolve in water. Okay. So okay, so magnesium oxide when dissolved in water, it forms magnesium hydroxide. And yes, as you know that this magnesium hydroxide is what? Basic in nature, because it turns red litmus paper to blue. Basic in nature. Fine. Next, one more example I have taken of sodium oxide. When sodium oxide dissolves in water, it forms sodium hydroxide. So some of you might have confusion that why ma'am has written NaOH. See beta, this is the very right way to write sodium hydroxide. Although we write this way NaOH, that is also right. Okay, but since your hydroxide is a polyatomic ion, so better to write polyatomic ion in the bracket also. That won't be wrong. Okay, so you the both formula is correct, whatever you like to write. Okay, and yes, it is balanced here, so you have to write the balanced form. Now the second reaction is reaction of metal with water. So if you just the add or just put the metal into the water, what you are going to see, what you are going to observe is that, see, first of all, every metal was not reacting with oxygen in the room temperature. You have, for some metal you have to heat for a small amount of time, for some metal you have to heat for a long time. Similarly, different metals also react with water under different conditions. What would be the different condition of water beta? Either the water will be normal, cool, or the water will be hot, or the water will be very hot in the form of steam. So these are the different conditions of water. Okay, so let us understand here. Metal reacts with water to form metal hydroxide. Yes, the same metal hydroxide what you have seen here. This metal hydroxide is formed, it was formed when the metal oxide was reacting with water. But here, when you simply add metal in the water, it forms metal hydroxide, and along with the metal hydroxide, what else is formed? It releases hydrogen gas. Okay, that is your H2. Now metal with water, I have written the formula, it forms metal hydroxide and hydrogen gas is released. Okay, let us take one example here children. See here, example is 2Na, that is your sodium metal, when react with H2O, and here the water is what? It can be cold water also or the normal water. Cold means normal water. Okay, so it forms sodium when react with water, it forms sodium hydroxide. This is your soluble sodium hydroxide. Soluble means it is soluble in that water. If you are adding the freshly cut sodium metal, as you know that sodium and potassium, these two metals are kept in kerosene oil because these are highly reactive with the oxygen. So in order to prevent its reactivity from oxygen, these sodium and potassium ion are kept in the kerosene oil, and when they are added into the water, they react very vigorously, and they react to. So children, you can understand here very nicely. That's why I have written the same thing in the form of note here. Let us read here and then we will understand very nicely. See, after adding a freshly cut piece of sodium metal in water, you will find that sodium metal reacts very rapidly. You will find that sodium metal it start moving round and round in the beaker, and it release the good amount of effervescence is coming. That effervescence is of hydrogen gas. Okay, but after some time you will see that at last, after few seconds, you will see that sodium starts burning on the water. Yes, you will see a yellowish or orange color flame over the water. So let us understand that how that flame is coming, it is coming out of that metal. What is burning actually? Is metal is burning or something else is burning? So now see here what I have written, that and yes, it reacts with water to form colorless solution and of sodium hydroxide and release hydrogen gas. Is it okay? So hydrogen gas is released and sodium hydroxide is formed. Next, see here children, along with the formation of the above two products, large amount of heat is also released. Yes, now this is very important point we have come here, and that most of you don't understand that how that flame is formed. So see, along with the formation of the above two product means, so along with the formation of sodium hydroxide and hydrogen gas, good amount of energy, large amount of heat energy is also released, and this amount of heat varies from one metal to the other. Yes, in some metal the heat may be released in a very large amount, and while in some other metal the amount of heat released would be in lesser amount. So it depends upon metal to metal. So let me tell you here that more reactive metal or highly reactive metal releases the energy, releases heat energy in large amount, and less reactive metal releases the heat energy in less amount. So now here in sodium, here in sodium metal, the heat released is in large amount. Yes, obviously, because we know that sodium is a very reactive metal, which causes the burning of hydrogen gas. Now I have underlined this statement, please just understand, children, so that here, that sodium metal, what it happens, that sodium metal reacts with the water to release hydrogen gas, and when large amount of energy is large amount of heat energy is released, that heat energy, it is enough to burn the hydrogen gas. So whatever the flame you see upon the water, that flame is not due to the sodium metal burning, that is due to the burning of hydrogen gas. And again I am telling you, you should know better that flame forms only at that place where the gas is burning. Okay, where any, if the burning of any gas takes place, there only the flame takes place. Flame, you can see a very good example of it is the burning of the LPG gas flame in your kitchen. Okay, so that is your gas. Now here I have written, and due to this we are able to see the yellowish orange colored flame over the water when sodium is added in the water. And again I have written, please, metal do not burn to produce flame, it's hydrogen gas which burns to produce the flame here. Okay, is it okay to everyone? So here only sodium metal burns to produce the flame. Now whatever reaction you are going to study here, these metals, yes, they react with the water to generate energy or to liberate heat energy, but that heat energy is not enough to burn this hydrogen gas. Is it okay? So we can't see flame in all these metals. Now see, magnesium, when it is added to, now you can see here I have written boiling water. So magnesium do not react with cold water, you have to add boiling water for it, and it becomes magnesium hydroxide and hydrogen gas is released. And here the energy is released, but not that much that it can burn this hydrogen gas. Okay, next, iron, red hot iron. So here you have to take two things very at a very, means you have to understand very nicely. So iron should be heated to red hot, and you have to not react here, means iron don't react with your normal water, neither it reacts with your boiling water. So how it will react? It will react with the steam. And when it will react, when the iron itself is heated, is red hot heated, okay, then it reacts with steam to form ferric oxide, that is your Fe3O4, and hydrogen gas is liberated. Okay, last one, copper, it don't react. This is a very good reaction, because here every time in exam you people get confused that whenever we used to write copper plus water, then you used to write copper hydroxide plus hydrogen gas. Please see, children, that which metal it is talking about. Copper neither reacts with your normal water, cold water, hot water, or neither your nor your steam. Okay, copper do not react with any form of the water. Fine, so no reaction at high temperatures also. So according to all these reaction, the reactivity of metal is like this. Sodium is more reactive than magnesium, and magnesium is more reactive than iron, and iron is more reactive than copper. And as you can again just conclude that some more metal, just like gold and silver, these are also non-reactive to any form of the water. Is it okay? So this is how, children, we come to an end with our today's topic, that is reaction of metal with oxygen and reaction of metal with water. In next class we will be talking about the reaction of metal with acids and reaction of metal with bases. Okay, till then revise everything. Okay, wherever if you are feeling any doubt, then please do message me or write down in the comments, so that I would be able to help you. And next important thing is that please all of you learn the way to form the formula. Okay, by the technique of cross valency method. Okay, I think some of you might be facing problem that ma'am how this Fe3O4 is formed, because because here iron is having two valency, oxygen is also having two valency. Okay, so children, let me tell you here that this Fe3O4, this is your complex compound. Okay, this is your not normal compound, this is your complex compound, and here iron has two valency, my dear, 2 and 3 both. Okay, so I am telling you one more formula of iron oxide where the valency is 3 and here oxygen valency is 2, and it forms Fe2O3. And I think all of you are familiar with this formula. No? Fe2O3 dot XH2O. This is the formula of rust. Rust, junk. This is the formula of rust. Okay? So this is how, and this is your complex substance. So the formula of complex substance you won't understand at this stage, so don't take so much pain. So this is your complex substance, that is only something extra was there in your book, so that is why I have told this is your Fe3O4 and this is your Fe2O3 that you can form by your cross valency method. So this is your ferric oxide, name is ferric oxide. Fine. So in this video you have learned many new things. I hope that all of you will read this, and it would be very good, means all of you will be able to understand this, children. So till then, take care. We will be meeting soon with our next video. Okay, bye bye, take care, children.